Section 3 of the 1987 Constitution. Kabisado mo naman ito eh. Civilian authority is at all times supreme over the military. The Armed Forces of the Philippines is the protector of the people and the state. In times of war, wala tayong pag-uusapan, General. You need to protect our people. Yun talagang katungkulan ninyo. Yun ang mandato ninyo. At hindi ka makakaiwas talaga ron. Eh kung hindi giyera, halimbawa, like it's peacetime, how do you make use of this constitutional provision? Medyo mabilis daw yung promotion mo, parang twice in a period of 1 year and 10 months. Unusual ba yun o okay lang?
Hindi ko po.
Hindi, na-promote ka ba twice within a period of less than 2 years?
I don't know. I was promoted, sir. Wala naman po akong...
Hindi ka na-promote?
If there are,
Mr. Chair?
yes, Honorable Marcoleta.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask General Gonzales some follow-up questions. I'm following up from where Senator Risa Ontiveros left. She was asking you as to how you are shifting from internal security to external security on account of brewing tensions, not only in our part of the globe, which is the South China Sea, but as well as the other protagonists, namely America and China, even Ukraine and Russia, Japan and China for that matter. And I heard you, you said that you were working on a mindset. How do you do that? Will you elaborate on how you're working on the mindset of the ground troops in relation to the shift from internal security to the external one? If you can give examples on how you do it.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Sir, please allow me to answer this in a general manner. For example, sir, our plans, we are trying to mend all of our plans, and from internal concern, internal focus, we are inducing how the land component will work along with the maritime and air in case, sir, that a war will break out or an invasion, God forbid, will happen. How our components will be working together. And because it is my duty to make sure that we can conduct joint operations, sirs. So that is how we are doing it. Thank you, sir.
You're talking about a change in the mindset. We would like to be familiarized with how you operationalize working on the mindset of our ground troops.
First, sir, like what I mentioned on the plans will now include or induce a specifics, lines of efforts. Because if the planners are aware that they now have to induce external security operations, that is one way of changing the mindset, sir. And of course, sir, we are also working with the major service units, the service providers, in their education system, sir, most especially in the General Staff Corps and even to advanced and basic, to make sure that the concept of joint and combined operations is already being introduced at the basic level and applied at the Squadron Officers Course or the advanced level, and effectively practiced when they attend their GSC. Thank you, sir.
Let me cite a specific example, General. When we talk about the South China Sea, this is a huge semi-enclosed sea, but we are not owning the entire South China Sea. I think from our point of view, we are referring only to what is ours. We call it West Philippine Sea. As a matter of fact, this maritime area was defined by law already. Hindi ko lang matandaan masyado. It's Republic Act 120 blah blah blah. But it is how it was defined. Do sa definition, Mr. Chair, it coincided with the country's exclusive economic zone, which is 200 nautical miles from the archipelagic baseline. But given that there is another demarcation line, courtesy of Presidential Decree 1596, dito kasi nagkakaroon ng konting misconception, Mr. Chair. If you are using Presidential Decree 1596, sakop natin yung mga ibang features dyan like Ito Aba. Ito Aba is occupied by Taiwan, but it is claimed by the Philippines. Yung Subi Reef, it's a low tide elevation, but this is occupied by China. Yung T2, ito yung Pag-asa, yung munisipyo natin, ano? Occupied ito ng Pilipinas. Yung SWK, ito yung Pugad. This is occupied by Vietnam. Okay. Yung Gaben North is occupied by Vietnam. Yung Gaben South is occupied by China. At yung Makinan, magkakadikit ito, China as well as the Johnson Reef. Ang problema, Mr. Chair, nitong dalawang ito, yung sabi nung arbitral award, nung dinimanda natin ng China, I think this is in 2012, hindi natin pwedeng i-appropriate, sabi ng tribunal, yung mga islands dito. So nagkaroon tayo ng dispute between the tribunal's decision and the Presidential 1596. And we made an adjustment there. Doon sa bagong batas na ginawa natin, although meron pang problema kasi yung Quarteron Reef, dito yung Calderon natin, is still outside our exclusive economic zone. Pero kine-claim natin yun. Ang problema, yung Amboyna Cay. Sana yung Amboyna Cay, this is occupied by Malaysia, but this is within our EEZ. I am trying to picture this to you, General, kasi in employing, for example, the shift of the mindset from internal security to the external one, we need to be assured of the maritime rights or even the territory that we need to protect. Ang sabi nga natin, well, the most patriotic of us, sabi nila, West Philippine Sea, atin ito. Diba? Ganun talaga eh, no? West Philippine Sea, umalis ka dyan, sabi sa China. But if we are unable to really locate the precise coordinates until we are able talaga, pinpoint natin talaga kung nasaan ba talaga yung saganang atin, merong nasa sakop ng ating exclusive economic zone. So based on the new law, ito dapat. Kaya lang yung presidential decree is another. Outside ng economic zone, pero kine-claim pa natin. So if we make a statement na yung atin lang, pero merong outliers, ito ba ay alam mismo ng ating mga kasundaluhan kung nasaan lahat itong mga features na ito, anong exact coordinates, kung ilang ibon ang nakakalipad doon. Kasi in the aftermath of a war, sabi mo nga, God forbid. Pero kunwari, talagang ganun nangyari. If you send your children, your grandchildren to the war and let them fight for and die for these features, we need to know exactly where is this West Philippine Sea. Hindi ba tama, General? So kabisado nyo ba lahat ito talaga? Did you coordinate, for example, with the Coast Guard? O kaya the office responsible in locating by precise coordinates para hindi tayo magkamali? Do you follow, General? So, what's your comment?
Sir, first of all, like what I mentioned in my earlier answer on the education of our officers, sir, rest assured that your comment on the determining the exact location of these features will be factored in our curriculum of our officer, and not just officer, even for training of our enlisted members. But let me also mention, sir, that in the NTF-WPS, one of the members is the DepEd, sir, and one of the drive is to introduce the West Philippine Sea into the curriculum of our students. And hopefully, sir, if we start early as elementary education, making everyone aware what rightfully belongs to the Philippines, I'm more than certain, sir, that when the day comes that they will also serve in the armed forces, they will really be very much willing to defend each square inch of our territory, sir.
Mr. Chair, that's a good starting point. The only problem is, yung libro na yon, nakita ko na yun eh. But it does not really answer where the West Philippine Sea is. So sinasabi lang natin, meron tayong ganitong karagatan. It does not even distinguish between maritime rights and sovereign rights or territory. Kasi po, General, even if we talk about our territorial sea, our continental shelf, our economic zones, exclusive economic zones, these are not considered territory. Yun dapat ang maintindihan ng ating mga kasundaluhan kasi hindi siya considered under public international law as territory, but sinasabi natin, atin ito. We cannot appropriate what is not ours as a territory. Maritime rights, okay lang yon sapagkat nananagot tayo sa yung UNCLOS na, yung UNCLOS kasi dinidistinguish niya what are the things that we can do do sa ating mga maritime rights in relation to the other coastal states. So kailangan pong madistingue ito in our effort to protect our own. We need to make sure that our people know exactly and certainly ano-ano pa itong mga features na to. Baka mamaya, General, mga ibon lang pala yung nandun at saka mga ilang mga makikipagpatayan tayo, hindi pala yun ang dapat na mangyari sa atin, no? Kailangan nating malinawan ito, Mr. General. Mr. Chair, pwede pa bang makapagtanong ng kung hindi ka naman nagmaster eh?
Yes, Honorable Marcoleta.
General, ito yung gusto kong itanong sa iyo. Under Article 2, Section 3 of the 1987 Constitution, kabisado mo naman ito eh. Civilian authority is at all times supreme over the military. The armed forces of the Philippines is the protector of the people and the state. In times of war, wala tayong pag-uusapan, General. You need to protect our people. Yun talagang katungkulan ninyo. Yun ang mandato ninyo. At hindi ka makakaiwas talaga ron. Eh kung hindi giyera, halimbawa, like it's peacetime, how do you make use of this constitutional provision?
May I answer, sir? Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, we recognize what we call as the duly constituted authority, sir. And the duly constituted authority is the one that has the mandate of the people. And in our case, the one who has the mandate of the people, who is duly elected, is the President of the Republic of the Philippines, who is also the Commander-in-Chief. And thus, we recognize him as our leader, our commander, a civilian, but who leads the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So we recognize duly constituted authority, sir, and we will defend everything that is aligned with our duties, and we will defend the chain of command. Thank you, sir.
But Mr. Chair, I did not ask him about duly constituted authorities. I know that the armed forces is duty-bound to respect and obey the duly constituted authorities of this country. But that was not my question. My question, Mr. Chair, is how do you operationalize this very important constitutional provision in times of peace? Kasi pag giyera, hindi tayo magdidebate rito. Katungkulan mo talagang pagbabarilin lahat yung mga kalaban natin para ma-protectionan mo kami lahat, di ba? Pero kung halimbawa wala naman tayong kalaban, yun ang gusto ko lamang kasi ayaw kong magkaroon tayo ng misconception eh. Kasi ang daming gumagamit ng ganitong phrase eh. We have a president in recent memory. Nangyari sa panahon ni former President Erap Estrada. You saw how the armed forces withdrew its support to the presidency. At ang sinasabi nila noon, this is the basis. This is the constitutional ground. Kasi we need to protect the people. Mr. Chair, I'm not saying that there is a parallel between what happened during the time of the former President Joseph Estrada and the political realities of the present. Kasi noon ginamit ito under those circumstances. Ngayon, kapag nakikita mo yung mga political activism ngayon, there are huge rallies. Siguro naman nakikita po ninyo. Tayo naman lahat, nakikita natin lahat. People gather huge rallies at sinasabi nila this is the way to petition and redress our grievances to our government. And these are protected rights under the Constitution. Kung minsan sinasabi nila, minsan nga, di ba, nasasabi sila, oh, you are the protector of the people. You are not, di kayo kumikibo. Mga ganun, siyempre, how do you react to this? And what, for example, the hierarchy is conveying to you in relation to this mass protest or rallies that we see in our time?
Yes, Your Honor. First of all, with regards to the rally, sir, this is a concern of the Philippine National Police. And in regards to that, sir, we are only in support role. We are not supposed to take the lead. And that is where a specific example, sir, that the police leadership, which is a civilian body, takes the lead. And that is their main task. It is not our main duty. We are just to support law enforcement, sir, if directed. Thank you, sir.
No, but the provision is very, very clear, Mr. General. The Armed Forces of the Philippines is the protector of the people. You do not delegate it only to the internal force like the police. Parang kasama kayo rito di ba? Kasi kaya ako tinatanong ito, Mr. Chair, para meron tayong malinaw na konsepto dito. Hindi yung basta na lang nagagamit ito, ikinapit dito, ikinapit doon. Wala tayong matibay na mapangahawakan na mga katibayan kung paano natin ma-operationalize ito. Kasi napaka-importante nito. Sayang naman ito. Kung halimbawa, pababayaan lang natin nandito, lalo na kung panahon ng wala namang gyera, kung hindi, nagkakaroon lang tayo ng gyera sa atin-atin lang, which is internal in ourselves, di ba? So, yun ang kailangan nating ma-process kasi ito, Mr. Chair. Gusto naming malaman sa inyo, ano ang pagkakaintindi ng armed forces dito sa phrase na ito? I'm sorry if I make you very uncomfortable, Mr. General, but I know you are a battle-scarred individual. Kayang-kaya mo sagutin ito.
Sir, first of all, sir, I, on behalf of the general officers who are here with me this morning, believe that we are all professionals. We are a professional organization. And as such, sir, we will only adhere, perform, and execute our mandate. Sir, with due respect, we are not supposed to be involved in politics or interpreting the Constitution. We will only comply what our directives are, and that is what we will do, sir. We will operationalize whatever directive we have for as long as it is in line with our duties. But we will never do anything, sir, to violate the chain of command and to destroy whatever was written in our Constitution. That will be all, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's a very, very safe answer, Mr. Chair. So what happened during the time of General, sino na yun? Panahon ni President Era? Angie Reyes. So ano yun? How do you characterize that? Did he use this or this provision, or he did not use this but he used another, let's say, legal basis?
Sir, with due respect, sir, I cannot provide a clear answer to that, sir.
You cannot provide a clear answer.
Yes, sir, because I did not know what was going on in the mind of General Reyes, sir, or who influenced him.
Okay. Mr. Chair, salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable Marcoleta. Honorable Loyola.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, our nominees and appointees have dedicated their lives in the defense of our nation. And there being no opposition objections to their nomination and appointment, I manifest my full support for the ad interim appointment of and nomination of the 26 generals and flag officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Mr. Chair, allow me also, as a member of the Pre and Accepted Mission of the Grand Lodge of the Philippines, to extend my special recognition to my brothers in the Armed Forces of the Philippines, who are among the least to be confirmed and the subject matter of our hearing. Namely, please stand up when your name is called to be recognized. Brigadier General Vince James de Guzman Batilan, Liwan, Masonic Lodge, Hawaii. Major General Leo Edward U. Caranto, Bernardo Carpio, Masonic Lodge number 359. Brigadier General Emil Jimenez Cruz, FD Roosevelt, Masonic Lodge number 81. Brigadier General Erickson Laquijo Gob, Bernardo Carpio, Masonic Clutch number 359. Major General Adonis Ariel Ganinay Orio of Tumawi Masonic Clutch number 251. Major General Michael Garilao Logico and Wilfredo Bailon Manalang Jr., Brigadier General Wilfredo Bailon Manalang of Kutambato, Masonic Clutch number 110. Thank you, my brethren, for giving honor to our fraternity and continue to shine high and lead an outstanding example to our brothers in the armed forces of the Philippines. Mr. Chair, allow me also to give special recognition to my kababayan from Cavite, Brigadier General Jerome Ramirez Argones, a native of Bacoor City, Cavite, but born in Quezon City, and Brigadier General Erickson Laquijo Gob, born also in Cavite City. Thank you, kababayan, for giving honor to our province. That will be all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Loyola. Before we continue, can we now, if there are no more inquiries from the members, can we now excuse Honorable Lieutenant General Gonzalez? Sir, you're now excused. You may. The chair would like to acknowledge the presence of the member of CA, Honorable Tony Pet Albano. We now call on our majority floor leaders. Ma'am? Yes, Honorable Risa Antueros.
Mr. Chair, I just have a few other questions for a few other of the officers.
Oh, yes, please.
Salamat po.
Yes.
Just one question po for Lieutenant General Narvin Lagamon, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Lieutenant General, please take the seat.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair, at magandang umaga po, General.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, sir. It said in your profile and investigation report that you prioritize the implementation of the Civil Relations Service Armed Forces of the Philippines' mental wellness program, which aimed to measure the stress level of personnel. You were also able to partner with private corporations, which sponsored several training sessions for your CRS-AFP mental health providers. As the proponent of the Mental Health Act, I wholly welcome these initiatives. However, I do hope that your commitment to supporting the mental well-being of our soldiers will continue as you take on higher responsibilities. Ano po yung mga plano ninyo, kung mayroon, para i-sustain at palawakin pa itong mga mental health programs para sa mga miyembro ng AFP sa ilalim ng inyong command, Mr. Chair?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mental health wellness is not only an advocacy that I try to advance. It is an advocacy that is being advanced by the AFP organization as a whole. We look at mental health as a real problem, and for the past 2 to 3 years, several programs, and there's an AFP wellness program that is being implemented. But on my own, when I was commander of the Civil Relations Service, I really put importance, and I partner with, as mentioned, civilian organizations, because I believe that if especially soldiers, and we should give them the opportunity, we should give them a venue where they can talk about their mental health issues and not be given a stigma of because especially in our organization like the AFP, where accepting that you have mental health problem may be viewed as a weakness. We have to have a venue for soldiers who are battle scarred, nowhere to go to, and that's why I advanced that program, and thankfully with the help of other civilian partners, we're gaining grounds, and I will continue to advocate that as one of my philosophy as a commander of the CMO command that I had today. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Nasagot nyo na po, General Mr. Chair, yung follow-up question ko na. So how will you sustain or expand? So you will continue this advocacy in your next and higher command, General.
Yes, ma'am, because it is a personal advocacy as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you also, General. Salamat po, Mr. Chair. Unless another colleague in the CA will ask questions, I just have a couple of questions for maraming salamat po, General Lagamon.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
Lieutenant General Lagamon.
And then
Yeah.
I'm
Yes,
willing to
please.
give way if there's another colleague who's going to ask questions.
Yes, I believe Honorable Marcoleta.
Very briefly, Mr. Chair, meron kasing information submitted before the commission, although I found out that this is not sworn state. Brigadier General Nicolas can answer a few clarificatory questions in relation to this info just submitted before the commission. You may want to address a few questions, sir.
Brigadier General Nicolas, please take the seat. Yes, Honorable Marcoleta.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. General Nicolas, meron kasing nagpadala ng siguro gusto lang niyang ma-check naman, ano, wala naman siyang masamang tinapay sa iyo.
Yes, sir.
Medyo mabilis daw yung promotion mo, parang twice in a period of 1 year and 10 months. Unusual ba 'yon o okay lang?
Hindi ko po,
Hindi,
I don't know,
na-promote ka ba twice within a period of less than 2 years?
I don't know, I was promoted, sir. Wala naman po akong,
Hindi ka na-promote?
I mean to say, I was promoted last 2024 yata, sir.
Dalawang beses daw within a period of 1 year and 10 months.
No, sir. I think almost 20 months or something like that.
Ang nakalagay rito kasi, General, nagtapos ka ng Masters in Public Administration, National University.
Yes, sir.
Meron ka pang doctoral sa Public Administration, University of Manila.
Yes, sir.
BS Civil Engineering, Technological Institute of the Philippines.
Yes, sir.
Meron ka pang unit sa BS Civil Engineering sa Mapua.
Yes, sir. Basic service.
Civil Engineering ka na sa TIP eh.
Sir, hindi ko na-continue yung sa Mapua, sir. Basic lang, sir, yun. Sige.
Tapos meron ka pang unit sa Bachelor of Laws. Ha?
Yes, sir.
Nasipag mo namang mag-aral, General.
Wala, sir. Medyo.
Grabe ito, ha. Kami ni Senator Amy, hindi namin nakuha lahat ito eh. Doctor of Public Administration.
Yes, sir.
Merong phrase sa public administration eh. Made popular during Obedesco pero no cumplo. What does that mean?
It is a Latin, sir, but I cannot interpret it.
Huh?
But I heard that already, sir. If you can...
You heard that?
Yes, sir, but I cannot...
Doctor of Public Administration. O sige, okay na. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Just
Thank you, General.
Thank you, Honorable Marcoleta. Thank you, General. Honorable Risa.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of questions po for Brigadier General Ronald Bautista, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Honorable Risa.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po, General.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, sir. Nakita ko po sa profile and investigation report nyo na mayroon kayong record sa CHR na complaint for arbitrary detention, violation of domicile, maltreatment, and theft that was forwarded to the Ombudsman for preliminary investigation and the Office of the Inspector General for Administrative Action. The CHR Region 9 resolution reflecting these actions is dated January 7, 1998. Ano po ba ang status ng kaso na ito, General, Mr. Chair?
Ma'am, it was already dismissed by the Regional Trial Court of Ipil, Zamboanga del Sur. Now Zamboanga, Sibugay, ma'am.
Po ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, salamat, sir. And then huling tanong ko po, Mr. Chair, para kay General Bautista, you are also credited for anchoring mental health programs that promoted the resiliency, readiness, and effectiveness of 566 personnel. In 2020, this year, you were bestowed the Meritorious Achievement Medal for your contributions in implementing interventions that significantly decreased the stress level of personnel of the 7th Infantry Division. So as a mental health advocate, I am happy to see such initiatives in the AFP. But may I ask, alin pong specific interventions ang napatunayan pinaka-epektibo? At ini-intend nyo po ba na patuloy na i-promote at i-institutionalize pa nga itong mga programang ito kapag promoted na kayo? At kung oo, paano po, Mr. Chair?
We started it by creating the Kaugnay CARES program of the 7th Infantry Kaugnay Division, wherein we pulled all psychometrician graduates that applied as enlisted personnel and those commissioned as officers in our division, ma'am. Then we also pulled the expertise of our priests, lawyers, and financial managers to give advices and counsel personnel that experiencing some mental health problem in our area of operation. And from time to time, we are partnering with some government agencies and other non-government organizations to help us in advocating for the proper education to understand what is mental health in our community.
So I suppose, sir, itong mga in-enumerate nyo, yung sa karanasan ninyo dito sa Kaugnay Cares Program, ang naging pinaka-epektibo.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would concur po lalo na dun sa, ewan ko, baka nakita nyo sabi ko, ang galing, yung the fact na pinuli nyo yung mga psychometrician graduates at hindi lang sa mga opisyal, pati sa mga EPs. Kahit po nung ina-advocate namin noon yung mental health law, yun din yung advocacy halimbawa ng Youth for Mental Health Program na yung mga psychometricians pa lang sa mga guidance offices sa mga eskwelahan, mabigyan ng further training para pwede rin silang mag-assist bilang guidance counselor. So even at that level, yung psychometricians, I can imagine paano pwedeng nag-ambag sa mental health program sa AFP. And I suppose yung pag-recruit nyo rin po ng mga pare, mga abogado, financial advisors, dahil kung identified na yung expertise nila ang pinagmumula ng maraming stressors. Hindi lang siguro sa mga sundalo, lahat ng mga professionals or working people. So, mabuhay po kayo para doon. And huling follow-up na lang, so itutuloy nyo po ba, kapag na-promote na kayo, itutuloy nyo po ba yung pag-promote at pag-institutionalize ng mga ganito, Mr. Chair?
Actually, we already institutionalized, ma'am, the table for our in all of the units under the 7th Infantry Kaugnay Division, and we also maintain the hotline so that we can readily give advices and mentoring to our personnel who are suffering from mental health issues. In fact, last year we prevented about 3 or 4 attempted suicide among our personnel.
again, baka nakita nyo, sir, napawaw ako kasi may hotline pa kayo and you successfully prevented the suicides of 3 or 4 persons. So, alam po ba ng DOH itong programa nyo sa AFP? It sounds like one of the best practices na dapat ipaalam sa lahat at para ma-replicate or ma-scale up din with the help of DOH. Alam po ba nila ito, General?
Our Port Magsaysay Station Hospital regularly coordinating with the local health agencies in Palayan City and Nueva Ecija. And we are also inviting some subject matter experts from the DOH, ma'am, when we conduct our seminars and workshops.
So para sa lahat ng iyan, General, mabuhay po. Yun lang ang tanong ko kay General Bautista, Mr. Chair. Salamat po. Maraming salamat, sir, at advance congratulations.
Thank you, Honorable Rizal Tavera.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah,
Mr. Chair.
I'll give way, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Plaza.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Nabigla ako, no? I'm also concerned. May ano ako dyan sa mental health. The suicidal tendencies of your men, was it the cause of PTSD or what other problem?
There are a lot of factors affecting the mental health of our personnel. The number one contributors of these issues are family problems, actually, not necessarily related to our work as a soldier. In fact, one of our personnel who committed suicide, when we investigated the cause of it, it is related to her family problems.
Second question, a follow-up. Meron ba tayo may psychiatrist within the armed forces?
We maintain our psychiatrist, sir.
Do we have medicines, antidepressant?
We have also, sir.
Because I think the main issue here is no, yung sino yung may pinagdadaanan. Early detection pa rin ang labanan din dito. Tapos again, of course, antidepressants and whatever form of medicine. That's why I was asking if we have enough psychiatrists. Tayong mental health. Mental health, lumalabas na lahat ng problema. Even to teenagers, simple problems, nagpapakamatay. So I think it's best that the armed forces, you being interested in mental health, together with the other generals, would do some plans in really looking at in every, let's say, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, magkaroon ng specialist. I should say, kasi hindi naman ganun kadami ang meron yan, but we would want to avoid that na mangyari. Because definitely kulang talaga ang buong Pilipinas psychiatrist. Nakapila. I have friends, I have known a lot of friends who's going through something, tapos 1 month, 2 months, up to 3 months ang waiting period before they can get makakuha ng appointment sa psychiatrist. So, I don't know, Mr. Chair, anong magandang solution dito. But for the armed forces, I do hope you can tap kung saan yung area nyo. Baka meron namang magkusang loob ng mga psychiatrists kasi konti lang naman yan. Or psychologists to really put them into an examination that they really have some sort of mental issues in their own capacities as your soldiers. Ang akin lang maiwasan, no? Because talagang problematic tayo ang buong bansa tungkol dyan, hindi lang armed forces. But I really hope you continue to do so with your advocacy at gawin yung magandang gawin, and rest assured I will support all your endeavors if we're talking about mental health.
Actually, sir, for the information of the body, sir, tama po yun, sir, na napakalaki po ng pagkukulang natin regarding sa license psychologists and psychiatrists in the Philippines. That's why we support the education of our enlisted personnel to pursue their further studies to have this master's in psychology and to become a licensed psychiatrist, sir.
Ilan na ang
In our division, sir, we are supporting around 3 psychometrician. They are now undergoing their masteral, sir, in Palayan City, Nueva Ecija.
That's good. That's good. I hope this will be done in all divisions, ano? Sana ma-cascade nyo yan. All the generals are here. Sana mapag-aralan at magawa yung to get some of your personnel into a scholarship program, masteral or whatever, so that magkaroon sila ng capability to check, to see if there's some lower ranks who are into mental health issues. Thank you, General, and that's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Plaza. Okay, Honorable Riza Ontiveros.
Salamat, Mr. Chair, at sa Majority Leader. Huling itatanong na lang sana, Mr. Chair, si last but not the least, Lieutenant General Donald M. Gumiran, Mr. Chair. Yes, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
ma'am. Mr. Chair, before we proceed for the other officer, General Bautista, can you please come back to it? Hey, General Bautista. May tatanong lang po ako. Kilala niyo po si Congresswoman Ana York Bundok?
Yes, sir.
Pinagbilin ka niya sa amin na sa confirmation. I think she's here. Yeah. We'd like to acknowledge, Mr. Chair, the presence of Congresswoman Ana York Bundok. Good morning, ma'am. Thank you, General Bautista. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Brigadier General Bautista. Honorable,
Yes,
Ontiveros?
Mr. Chair. General Gumiran, sir.
Okay.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po, General.
Good morning to ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning po. Clarificatory question lang po, General. Dun sa profile and investigation report ninyo ng CA, nakalagay doon no kinship in government. Bakit po?
Ma'am, I think I have to correct that. I have a sister who is working at the Isabela State University, and I also have a brother who is working at the local government unit of Kabagan, Isabela, ma'am.
At bukod po sa kanila, General, di ba meron kayang anak na very brave?
That is correct, ma'am. I have a son who belongs to the Philippine Air Force and assigned with the 220th Airlift Wing of the Philippine Air Force based in Cebu, ma'am.
Ayaw nyo bang ilagay siya sa PIR nyo?
Of course, ma'am, I'd like to include him, but probably I just forgot to write down his name.
That's okay, General, Mr. Chair. Pero kung ako, gustuhin ko rin naman ilagay siya sa PIR. Yun lamang po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat, General. Advanced congratulations. Advanced maligayang Pasko po sa inyo at sa ating mga anak.
Mr. Chair.
Salamat, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat,
Yes,
ma'am, and
Lieutenant
advance
General-
Merry Christmas.
Lieutenant
Salamat
General
po.
Gumiran?
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
okay. Honorable Tony Pet Albano?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Donald Gumiran is actually from my hometown of Kabagan, Isabela. And I'm very proud that he will become, hopefully, recommended and appointed as a 3-star general. And I know the family well, Mr. Chair. This representation only gives a lot of recommendation to the family. They are family folk. His sister is actually truly working in Isabela State University. And what is she doing in Isabela? Is it in Cabagan campus or in the other campuses?
Sir, before answering your question, I would like to greet you first. A pleasant morning. My sister is working at the Cabagan campus of the Isabela State University, sir.
And then your brother is actually working in the municipio of Cabagan, where my sister is the mayor.
That is correct, sir.
What's the name of your brother again?
The name of my brother is Reynold Gumiran.
Si Ray, of course. And then, Mr. Chair, for the benefit of everyone, the son is actually a PMAer. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And now he works at the Philippine Air Force in Cebu, as you've said a while ago, right?
That is correct, sir.
Mr. Chair, this person is honorable. He's in a binag like me. He comes from Cabagan, where we eat pancit Cabagan. So after this, I would like to ask you to buy all of your colleagues pancit Cabagan so that they can taste pancit Cabagan, okay?
I will comply with that, sir.
Thank you very much. No further questions, Mr.
Thank you, Honorable Tony Pet Albano. If Honorable Ramon Guico is recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, to everybody.
Excuse.
Yeah, excuse.
The General is now excused. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, and this is for everybody, all you. Well, I have no questions to you, but only manifestation of support for the confirmation of the ad interim appointments of the 27 officers of the Department of National Defense. These men and women have upheld the highest standards of professionalism and competence, contributing steadily to the strength, continuity, and integrity of our defense institution. Their experience and steady leadership are indispensable to sustaining the readiness and reliability of our armed services amid the demands placed upon them. So, thank you and congratulations to everybody.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ramon Guico. Again, Honorable Tony Pet Albano.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the minority in the Commission on Appointments, we have no objections to the confirmations of these officers or fine gentlemen of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, because we owe our lives in peace and even sleeping well at night because of their very lives that they offer for the security of our nation. And therefore, we in the minority support their confirmation and hopefully the protection of the Republic of the Philippines. Thank you, Mr. Chair.